You are listening to Charting Wealth's comprehensive review and forecast for the week beginning Monday, the 19th of June, 2017. We see stocks are down for the day. TLT, that's the 20-year bond fund, and gold are up. We're going to jump right into the S&P 500 first. Of course, over the course of the week, we broke the weekly trend line. We'd started off the week actually breaking through the two-day trend line. We're very close to a weekly vertical crossover. We could call it, however, we still see a lot of up movement in the derivative oscillator. We are not in a trade right now. Why? Well, if you look at the two-day chart, you can see how the two-day chart is crossing over, going down right now. And as we get particularly into the 4-hour chart, you can see where it crossed over, going down all the way back on the morning of the 7th of June. So we are not in that as it is. If you want to go ahead and look for an opening to jump into a down play on Monday morning at 8:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., you can sure look to do that. That is the hour after the market has opened, after idiot hour. Make sure to look and see where that 4-hour chart is. Also see how strong the market opened and where that weekly is, if indeed that crossover is more greatly confirmed, along with the two-day chart. Look at that chart also on Monday morning. What can we give you, though, as a confirmed weekly vertical crossover going down? Well, when you look at the Qs, the NASDAQ 100, we have had that occur. We see the week has ended up with the derivative oscillator rotating over, going down, and we will go ahead and call a weekly vertical crossover going down on the NASDAQ 100 as we look a little closer into what has been happening over the last few days. Of course, in the NASDAQ 100 on the 12th of June, we had a two-day vertical crossover occur, and we've now had 6 days of down movement, strong down movement, and we will look to jump in at 10:30 in the morning on Monday. Do keep an eye on this 4-hour chart. If it crosses over going back up, then of course you might hold off before you jump in to that weekly vertical crossover down trade in the Qs. Now, just to touch on what we saw happen last time, this market we thought had topped its way out all the way back on the week ending the 13th of April. And then what did it do? Well, it fooled us. It rotated right back over on the week ending the 28th of April and moved back up again. Lots of strong movement over the last several weeks. However, this weekly vertical crossover going down, the latest one, is much stronger than the sideways slide that we had there in late March and early April. Let's keep moving through these charts on the weekly. Next, we will go to TLT, which is the 20-year bond fund. It continues to move up, had another up week of movement. The derivative oscillator continues to move up along with the PPO, the price percent oscillator. As we look at our two-day chart, we can see that we had strong up movement on the last two-day chart. We can go ahead and actually, on the last two-day candle rather, we can go ahead and actually redraw that two-day trend line. And of course, our movement's well above the weekly. As we look at the 4-hour chart, just to get a feel, of course, we had that crossover occur back on the afternoon of the 14th. And what we're really seeing as far as the 4-hour chart goes is a sideways slide. So continue to watch that with some trepidation. If it does rotate back over going down, wait to get back in for another day. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the 20-year bond fund. Now, back to the weekly chart. Let's take a look at what gold's doing. Gold up just barely 0.02% for the day. Not yet a weekly vertical crossover going down. However, we do see the derivative oscillator rotated over into the red. As we explore the two-day chart, what do we see going on? Well, the two-day chart has had 6 days, that is 3 two-day candles of down movement. And of course, now we have a confirmed two-day crossover going down. So we shall go ahead and mark that. Of course, those always precede Sometimes they happen at the same time, but typically they precede a weekly vertical crossover going down. We shall wait and see if and when that does occur. Now we'll look at the 4-hour chart, of course. That is our big chart for gold. It seems to work every time. What do we see happening on that 4-hour chart? We see a bottoming. We actually have 4-hour candles all hitting about the same point of about 119.30 or so. So keep an eye and see if gold is actually bottomed out. We'll see what that's all about. Folks, that's where we are as we end the day on Friday and we go into our new week beginning the 19th of June. Thank you so much for being with us. We are traveling. We'll be back home to be able to bring these broadcasts to you directly. Sorry, they have been posted a little late, particularly yesterday for the Friday broadcast. We'll get this one out to you immediately. You have questions, problems, concerns, let us hear from you. You can always write us cw@chartingwealth.com. And of course, be sure to go to the website if you don't already subscribe to our daily and weekly podcast. All the subscribers, of course, receive important things like the link to our How to Read a Stock Chart video, the layout that we use at freestockcharts.com, in addition to our daily market worksheet, the weekly market worksheet that you ought to fill out from what we've just been talking about. You do that once a week for this Monday broadcast. And then, of course, your trader worksheet, which you use to track all of your trades, the successful ones and the ones that aren't. Remember, you typically learn more from those where you lose than from those where you win. Thanks so much for being with us, folks. It is always great to have you. chartingwealth.com.